he started a Kickstarter campaign probably a month ago.
No, not even that long. It's been like 2.5, maybe 3 weeks. When we launched it, it only had like 30 days, and we got 12 days left.
And you've already raised how much?
70 on Kickstarter. We've raised 71,000 about. I could check right now, but that's about where we are. So this is a project that we launched just a couple weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, for something that my fiance and I are going to do when we get married. Getting married in 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks, 2 weeks from yesterday. And we talked about this idea of, I've been interested in Bitcoin for a while, which if you haven't heard of it, is a digital currency, an all digital currency that only exists in the digital world. So you can use it on your laptop or your smartphone. I've been interested in this for a while because it's kind of a novel concept in the world of currency. It works a little bit different than most of the money that we're used to using. But just think of it like internet gold or internet, like the currency of the web. Like Canada has a currency, the United States has a currency, Europe has a currency, the web now has a currency, and it is Bitcoin, and it is international by virtue of the World Wide Web is worldwide. I'd been reading about this, had been really interested in it, and anytime I tried to explain it to people, they would say, okay, that's great, but what can you buy with Bitcoin? Who accepts Bitcoin? And I'd say that's a really good question because it's not really currency unless people are actually using it as a medium of exchange.
Right.
So we conceived this project. A friend actually suggested it, and we thought, oh, that would be awesome. What if you lived only on Bitcoin for a stretch of time, for a month, for a week, for 3 months? And 3 months is what we kind of settled on, and we thought, let's give this a try, and let's make a documentary about it. So we put up a Kickstarter project for a documentary film about this experiment that Becky and I are going to do as soon as we get back from our honeymoon, where for the first 90 days of our marriage, we live only on Bitcoin, digital currency. So we can't spend cash, we can't spend debit, we can't spend credit. All of our expenditures, from groceries to gas to toiletries to restaurants, everything is going to be acquired through Bitcoin.
So video obviously plays a big role in the Kickstarter because it's your main medium for telling your story and what you want to do. Did you, what kind of research did you do? Did you look at other successful videos? Like, what was your formula?
You know, I'd been interested in Kickstarter and crowdfunding as well for a while, and I've been looking at that space and trying to understand it because something I've observed just in the few years that I've been doing digital marketing is that new platforms present new opportunities. So for us, when we launched Orabrush, YouTube advertising was brand new. And that was a huge new opportunity. There was no competition there. There were all these advertising tools.
It's the Wild West.
It's the wild, wild west. And you can go out there and you can get land and you can get resources. And it's crazy. And you've got to be really scrappy. But there are huge opportunities there. And it paid off big for Orabrush. Crowdfunding, still a pretty new platform. I was involved in a crowdfunding project last year to launch a product, and it was successful, and I've been analyzing it, trying to figure it out. There's huge opportunity right now in the growth of crowdfunding as a platform, and Bitcoin as well. I look at Bitcoin, and it's this technical, kind of obscure, weird thing that's difficult to explain, but it's a new platform. It's a new way of, new platforms present new way of doing things. Bitcoin is a new way of doing transactions. It presents new opportunities. So when these new platforms present themselves, I try to kind of read about them and focus on them and use them and figure them out and find where the opportunities are there, because consistently I find that new opportunities always mean new platforms always mean new opportunities. So we'd been analyzing crowdfunding and Kickstarter, and we found a lot of traits in Kickstarter videos that seem to be very common to successful videos. We focused a lot on the rewards and what we were offering people.
What? Give an example of what would make a successful Kickstarter.
Successful Kickstarter? You want to play to a community that already exists. What Kickstarter is great at, what crowdfunding is great at, is tapping into crowds. You get a crowd of people who are excited about something that you've done, even though they've never met you before. With crowdfunding, you can show up and say, hey, everybody who's really interested and fascinated and involved in this area or this thing, whether that's, board games or knitting or filmmaking, whatever it might be. You can create your project and you speak to that audience. So what's important to them? Why do they care about this? Speak to that person and think about it from their perspective. Craft a video that fully explains who you are, what you're doing, why you're doing it, why you care, and what they can hope to see out of this. If you really communicate thoroughly and you're authentic, then you can get a lot of people to rally behind you. And it's not a silver bullet. You can't just create the video, upload it, walk away, and expect to see a lot of returns. Something that I have observed in the 2 crowdfunding projects I've been a part of, and the other people that I've talked to who've done crowdfunding projects, is they are almost always successful when you have to have an element of just like hustle and outreach. You've got to be talking to all the community leaders, all the forums, all the various reporters or bloggers or vloggers who might be interested in your area. And that outreach should happen before you launch. You want to try to get as much momentum before launch as possible. Kind of counterintuitive, but it helps a whole lot to inform a community, to inform a crowd before you put it up.
That makes sense. It's kind of like tapping into like a small, like tapping into niches or the trends that are happening.
Mm-hmm. And these communities already exist. For almost anything you're doing, there's going to be a community somewhere online that's into it. Be talking to them before launch and inform them who you are, what you're doing, and ask for their help before you put it up.
So let's start wrapping it up. Is there anything else you want to add or any shout outs?
Check out my latest project, Life on Bitcoin. Go to lifeonbitcoin.com. There's a lot that you can do to learn about the project and to even be involved. Right now we're crowdfunding, and if you get to it quick, we probably still will be.
Nice. And confession, that was my first Kickstarter I've ever backed, was yours.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm honored.
That was my first time.
Ha! Thank you very much.
Yeah, it was happy to support. But yeah, look forward to that documentary. Any ideas? You'll film for the next 3 months?
We'll film starting about the beginning of August, and then film for the next 3 months, and then we'll be editing for months thereafter. And then who knows what distribution will look like. We might be taking it to film festivals. One thing I can promise you, though, is we'll have it online, available through Bitcoin. If you want to pay for it with Bitcoin, I feel like it would be untrue to the film,
right,
if we made it available only in dollars. So we'll figure out a way that you can get it online and to pay for it with Bitcoin.
Awesome.